Welcome back. My name is Steve-O32, the current drummer in my basement. Big news, last week MTV announced it was shutting down all of its music channels. The most shocking part isn't the shutdown itself, it's realizing MTV was still on the air? I did not know that. Now, just to be clear, MTV itself isn't completely going away. The flagship MTV channel is staying on. What's shutting down are the channels that still played actual music. MTV Music, MTV 80s, 90s, Live, all of that is gone. What's staying is the version of MTV that plays reality shows. Basically, they went from MTV to meh TV. In this video, I'm going to talk about how that happened. I'm also going to share some of the experiences that I had with MTV because we got in there right before the whole thing went downhill. So MTV launched in 1981 as the world's first 24-hour music television channel. The first music video they ever played was Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles. And it changed everything. Music videos became essential to how bands promoted themselves. And they weren't just marketing. Music videos became an art form unto themselves. From Michael Jackson's Thriller to the Beastie Boys' Sabotage to Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera, they were the memes of their day. The channel's slogan was, "I want my MTV," and it was true. People couldn't get enough of it. That's if you could get it at all. I grew up in Canada. When I was a kid, we didn't have MTV. We had much music, but we obviously knew all about MTV. It set the culture for the entire music-consuming world. We didn't get to have Beavis and Butthead, but we knew about it. Funnily enough, the first time I ever saw MTV, I was on MTV. In 2001, Sum 41's Fat Lip and In Too Deep both hit #1 on Total Request Live, which back then was a huge deal. We were right up there with fellow boy bands, the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and Good Charlotte. Other videos of ours also got tons of play. The video for Hellsong was nominated for a VMA, but we lost it to these bastards. MTV was instrumental in Sum 41's career. They gave us a ton of opportunities early on. We were invited to open the MTV 20th anniversary show with Tommy Lee and Rob Halford. We did the MTV Icon specials for both Aerosmith and Metallica, and we did MTV Cribs at my parents' house. Being on MTV meant massive exposure. It could make or break your career. But shortly after we arrived, the slow death started. In the early 2000s, reality TV exploded everywhere, and MTV was like, wait a minute, we've been doing that since 1992. Which was true. The MTV show The Real World basically invented the modern reality TV format. So MTV added more hugely popular shows like The Osbournes and of course Jackass. Another early reality TV smash hit was the hidden camera prank show Punk'd. Funny story, Sum 41 was actually on Punk'd not once but twice, and both attempts failed. The first time was when they were filming season 1. So of course we hadn't heard of it yet. We were on tour and our managers told us that contestants from a radio show had won the chance to be our roadies for the day and would be hanging out. So these two guys show up. One of them later turned out to be Dax Shepard, and they were the worst roadies. They kept breaking our equipment, and then they started a fight that nearly came to blows. But instead of reacting, we just stood there because we didn't care. By that time, all of our gear was free. If something broke, it got replaced, and they weren't fighting us, so we just watched as this unusual spectacle unfolded. And then all of a sudden, they stop, and this random guy comes out of nowhere and says, "You've just been punked." We were like, what does that mean? But they didn't get the reaction they wanted out of us, so it never aired. Point for Sum 41. And then a few years later, they wanted to try again, and this time they wanted to punk Derek. The plan was that we would go to a convenience store and create a situation where Derek would knock over a display shelf that would end up crushing another customer. Easy enough. So one night after playing a show, we're driving in a van and we stop at this convenience store in downtown LA. At the entrance of the store, there are these two big biker-looking dudes, and Derek's spidey sense immediately kicks in. I know that they're security guards for MTV to prevent any random people from coming in the store, but he doesn't know that. He just knows that something is up, but he doesn't know what. So inside, I do what I was told to do. I bump into Derek, and then he knocks into the display shelf, but nothing happened. So I try again, and to do it, I kind of start play fighting with him, which was very weird behavior because we didn't really do that. I knock into him again and again. he hits the display shelf, but nothing happens. Finally, he's like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Steve was acting crazy, and he leaves the shop and locks himself in the van. So now I go behind the staff-only door where all the punked people are hiding. And it's like a covert CIA command center. There's a bunch of TV monitors with people operating all the hidden cameras. The director of the show is freaking out on the prop guy because the shelf didn't fall over. He goes out to fix the problem, and then they're like, okay, let's try it again. But here's the thing. Derek will not leave the van. We have to abort. The director actually said abort. He was like, abort, abort, like we're on a black op. So we all pile back in the van and we drive off like nothing happened. Then a few months later, we're watching TV on the tour bus and Punk'd was on and we see this. And I wonder if Derek watched that and was like, this seems weirdly familiar. But I don't think we ever told him. Anyway, they ended up getting it to work with somebody else, but Sum 41 proved to be unpunkable. That's two, Kutcher. So that was around 2005, and by that point, TRL was fading fast and YouTube was starting to take over. People weren't waiting around for Carson Daly anymore. They were watching whatever music videos they wanted, whenever they wanted. Labels were slashing music video budgets, and the music industry was bleeding out. So MTV, instead of fighting it, they just changed lanes. Like McDonald's when Starbucks became popular. Screw you, McCafe. You make fries, not frappuccinos. Damn it. Quit clowning around and bring back the Hamburglar. But the Hamburglar wasn't coming back, and neither was music on MTV. They didn't need bands or music videos anymore. They just needed personalities. Jackass spin-offs like Viva La Bam and Wild Boys were taken over, and then Bring on Snooki! Jersey Shore, The Hills, Laguna Beach, A Shot of Love with Tila Tequila. MTV went from Headbangers Ball to 16 and Pregnant. Talk about dropping the ball. But maybe I'm just being unrealistically nostalgic. Let's face it, the music TV format just couldn't compete with on-demand. Once everyone was watching music videos on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, MTV as we knew it was done. The flagship channel will continue, but without music. It's just reality from now on. But how long will that last? It all started with video killed the radio star, and then reality TV killed the video star, and then the internet killed them both. Personally, I'm glad I got to experience it before the whole thing went belly up. I got my MTV. R.I.P. All right, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any fond memories from the golden era of MTV. I'll be back soon with more videos. My name is Steve032. Ika, hi, folks. I'm out.